You are watching NCC News. Before your week gets started, if you would like to see more of your community on our news broadcast, email us with your city, state and county. We can let you know what's going on in your area. This news broadcast is based out of Texas and produced by BT Collins, our multimedia photojournalist.
The country's Secretary of War is reinforcing requirements for the military. Have to get used to that, Secretary of War. That requires soldiers meet the highest male standards. Pete Hegseth called today's meeting gathering top U.S. military leaders from around the world at a Marine base in Quantico, Virginia. From now on, uniformed military members will be required to take the physical training test twice a year, pass a new combat field test where all soldiers will be required to meet the male standard, and pass height and weight requirements.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
Secretary Hegseth says any generals who take issue with his policies should consider resigning.
A self-defense incident can happen anywhere, at any time. Yet very few people talk about what happens in the aftermath of one. Specifically, what happens when the police arrive. Did you know you can go to jail simply for doing the right thing? For doing what you had to do to keep your family safe? There are a few key things you need to know that will best serve you when speaking with 911, the local police, and your family after a self-defense incident. That's why the USCCA is hosting a 100% free self-defense aftermath workshop in your city. And every attendee gets a copy of the training material to take home absolutely free. We'll discuss the physiological responses your body will go through after a violent attack, what happens to your judgment under heightened stress, 6 things that will happen when the police arrive, what to say to 911 and the police, and develop your critical self-defense response plan. The event is free, but space is limited. Click to get all the details and secure your spot, and we'll see you soon.
Well, good Wednesday afternoon. Southeast Texas meteorologist Kerry Cooper here on this Wednesday afternoon. Very nice afternoon across Southeast Texas on our Roofing 911 Skycam network here in Beaumont, sponsored by Packard LaPrade. We have partly sunny skies. Rains are pretty much over. Can't rule out a few widely scattered showers the rest of the afternoon. We're not going to see much more of anything, and what little wind we have out there will be slowly subsiding the rest of the day. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. You have mostly cloudy skies up there, not much rain expected up there either. So pretty nice afternoon. Of course, we started out with some showers this morning, pretty good coverage, but things have really fallen apart since then. Your weather headlines, a few showers the rest of the day, a little bit breezy early this evening. It's like a dry Thursday coming up. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms will return to the forecast Saturday, associated with an upper level disturbance coming in from North Texas, and then hot and dry coming up for Monday and Tuesday. All right, let's take a look at current winds. 12 miles an hour, only 10 in Port Arthur, 10 in Jasper. Not much wind out there. Now we're getting some gusts, 15 to 20 at times, but this is certainly not much wind across the area for a supposedly tropical system to our southwest down the coast, which we'll get into that in just a moment. And let's take a look at Futurecast. Just not much left out there. Like I said, we'll give it a 20% coverage the rest of the day, maybe this evening. That's about it. Not expecting much in the way of rainfall coming up tomorrow at all. 10% coverage or less in the morning. That would be about it. Temperatures across Southeast Texas, well, we're running in the mid-80s. Lots of breaks in the clouds. Very nice afternoon weather-wise across the area, with 85 in Beaumont, 86 in Orange and Jasper, 87 over in Lake Charles. All right, kind of a broader view of satellite. Look at all the rain way to our southeast in the Gulf. That's moving toward the Louisiana coastline, south of Lafayette, Baton Rouge, maybe. And I tell you, I said this earlier this morning on my stream at, I believe it was my 11:30 stream, maybe the noon stream, or maybe both, one of the two. I've been forecasting 25 years, and I have never seen something named tropical this disorganized. What's left of the surface low is still well southwest of Houston. This is the mid-level low out in the Gulf. That's moving toward eastern Louisiana, but I've never seen anything named like this in 25 years of forecasting. I don't know, beautiful afternoon actually. Look at that, partly sunny, partly cloudy skies. What's left of the surface low back to the south. I said the last couple days, models were showing the actual surface low dissipating, and that's what's going to happen. Well out to our west, winds never really switch directions anyway, so we'll continue with south winds. So we're in pretty good shape. Weather looking nice now coming up for the next few days. 87 Lufkin, 86 in Houston. Boy, it is hot in the Panhandle. Look at that, 104, Lubbock 102, Amarillo. No, we're not going to see that kind of heat beginning tomorrow into the weekend, but we'll be back into the 90s, that's for sure. Lower 90s coming up. 97 down in Brownsville. Here's current look at atmospheric moisture. Of course, the deepest moisture to our southwest and south, but it doesn't really matter now. There's so much upper level shear. It has sheared the thing apart that we're not even getting a lot of showers able to develop. So it's good news. We need some dry weather. We need dry weather. And of course, there's the rain well to our south, 80 to 100 miles offshore, moving away. Nothing really over southeast Texas. Now, like I said, we're going to give it a 20% coverage through this evening. And there is whatever that is there. I don't know. I just never seen something named tropical that there were no convection really around the center. Everything's 150 miles east of it, but it's dissipating now anyway. That the surface low is dissipating anyway. So we're back to normal weather pretty much. And you can see a satellite here out in the Gulf of Mexico. This is vorticity, or spin in the atmosphere, well to our southeast, moving away. Good, a little bit of subsidence actually occurring on the west side of that this afternoon across southeast Texas. All right, futurecast, pretty quiet. Like I said a while ago, we'll keep a 20% coverage in rest of the day into early this evening. It's pretty quiet overnight. Look at that. Oh, warm tonight too. We're looking for lows since it's so humid. We got a lot of moisture, there's no doubt about that. Lows in the upper 70s. I mean, getting near the coast, we're looking for 80s for lows tonight. South winds coming up for tomorrow. We'll keep rain pretty much out of the forecast for tomorrow. It'll be hot though. Highs will be back into the 90 to 92 degree range probably tomorrow, and certainly on a Friday. Coastal marine forecast, well, still pretty windy offshore. It'll be windy offshore for a few more hours. And those winds coming down, the water temperature very warm at 89. Speaking of the coast, let's go to some video we have from Galveston earlier showing the water down there in Galveston County. Nothing too major. I think they stayed under 2 inches of rain today. So some water there in some of the construction zones. 20% on the rain coverage this evening. Lows upper 70s, mid 70s, lakes near 80 on the coast. And for tomorrow, partly cloudy. We'll keep a 10% for the lakes. 0 inland, 0 triangle, highs close to 90. I think we have a little bit more video from Sabine Pass earlier too. Just a little bit of water earlier. We showed you standing on the side of the highways. Of course, you see the trees blowing there, the marsh, the winds blowing. Pretty windy along the coast. Had some gusts, 40, 45 earlier down the coastline, but of course the Gulf churned up due to the gusty winds offshore. But hey, good news. We need the dry weather. We see some of the water coming in there on those southerly winds. But the winds, speaking of that, are subsiding later today and overnight tonight. We'll be in good shape. Not too bad. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. 20% coverage rest of the day. We'll keep tomorrow dry. We'll go at 20% coverage Friday. Now, there is an upper level disturbance that we'll be watching coming in from northwest Texas Friday night, Saturday. We'll go with a 40% coverage of showers and storms with that upper level disturbance. No front with it. It's just an upper level disturbance there. On Saturday, some of that energy kind of hanging back Sunday. We'll lower it to a 20% coverage there. And then next week, hot and dry, low 90s, lows at night, upper 70s near 80 Monday morning. Pretty dry there, maybe a 10%er by next Wednesday. So the bottom line is we're in great shape here in southeast Texas. A little bit breezy the rest of the day into this evening, but the winds will slowly be coming down. And we'll see temperatures, as we said, beginning to feel more like summer coming up over the next couple of days. Another look at radar. See just a few isolated showers south of Beaumont. 10% coverage there, a few popping up in the lakes. That's mainly just due to the heating we're getting and all the tropical moisture we have in place. So 10 to 20% on the coverage the rest of the day into this evening. A few passing showers, but otherwise looks fairly quiet. Nothing out to the west. Houston has really gotten 0 today. Very little. Had a little bit of rain this morning, but nothing after that. And off to our east, of course, the best coverage of rain will be off to our east in Louisiana tonight, especially from, let's say, central and eastern Cameron Parish. Eastward, you will have a decent little coverage of showers there.
There are tropical storm watches and warnings up right now across several states. Millions in the path of severe storms tonight. In fact, the first possible tropical storm of the season, gaining strength right now in the Gulf. A driver, for one, has been found dead in her car. Authorities say she called 911, but the call dropped out. Flooding, blinding rain, lightning, strong winds hitting parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Ginger Z standing by with the forecast. Melissa Adon from Galveston, Texas tonight.
Tonight, a tropical storm watch up for the Gulf Coast, where the first named storm of the hurricane season could form in the coming hours. But the developing system is already fueling deadly floods. Vehicles stranded north of Houston today after up to 4 inches of rain fell fast. Drivers taking it slow in the woodlands. People pushing stalled cars out of deep water in Houston. This post office truck dead in the water. Emergency managers say the rain was coming down at about an inch every 15 minutes at one point, stressing the city's bayous. Tow truck drivers out in force, but also taking care.
Even with this truck being almost an 8,000-pound vehicle, it gets moved when we got, so deep into the water.
Just outside San Antonio, authorities found a woman dead inside her submerged vehicle. She reportedly called 911, but the call got cut off. In Shreveport, Louisiana, cars and even fire trucks struggled through deep water. The flooding spreading east into Mississippi late today. David, here along the Texas coast, we're under a tropical storm watch where conditions are expected to worsen tomorrow morning through the afternoon. David.
The water's churning right there behind you, Melissa. Thanks. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z tracking this system tonight for us. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. We could see Tropical Storm Arthur by tomorrow morning, but whether it gets a name or not, the impacts are what we have to talk about. And from Morgan City, Louisiana, back to Cameron, right to the state line of Texas, there are tropical storm warnings. That's for the gusty winds, the inundation of 2 to 4 feet of water, and the life-threatening flash flooding. Still flood watches all the way to Atlanta. Tomorrow, the flooding is focused from Macomb, Mississippi to Lake Pontchartrain, back to Lafayette and Lake Charles, nearly to Houston there for 2 to 4 inch per hour rainfall rates. Then we've got to talk severe storms up here in the Great Lakes. Tonight, we've seen tornado warnings already in Michigan, Indiana, and that severe watch goes to 11. Tomorrow is the big one, and this is going to be racing potentially strong tornadoes in the afternoon and evening across parts of northern and central Illinois into northwest Indiana. Peoria, Champaign, right there in Bloomington, over to, say, Lafayette, Indiana. I want everyone there to know you're at a level 4 out of 5. David?
Which is why you're right there outside Chicago tonight, tracking that as well as the tropical systems in the south. Thank you, Ginger.
We're spending more on drainage this year than in Houston's history. So this all is part of the training, preparation, infrastructure that we're constantly improving, in my judgment, after, as a Houstonian, years of neglect.
People in Senatobia are demanding answers after police shot and killed a child while responding to a shoplifting at Walmart. This is cell phone video from a witness outside the store on Highway 51. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is now taking a closer look at what happened.
I've helped over 10,000 business owners grow and scale their companies. I'm just passionate about watching entrepreneurs create great business.
We are a part of a big evolution that is going on within the financial industry. We are independent agents that are being trained through the leadership that has been developed just a few short years ago. They recently transitioned into this building in Dallas, Texas. The leadership grew so big that they had to expand to Austin, Texas, and several other states outside of Texas.
When you're moving forward, 'cause
We range from trainees to marketing directors, and some of us are future VPs. Come join us as one of our newest agents build his team in Beaumont, Texas.
Call Perfected Image at 409-790-7210.
Collegedale law enforcement and several other agencies are searching for a body in this landfill in connection to Robert Locke's murder. Collegedale detectives arrested 18-year-old Kean Andrew Neal in connection with the disappearance of 56-year-old Robert George Locke after finding traces of DNA. Neal is now facing several charges, including criminal homicide. Now, this arrest happened over the weekend, but there's now a massive search at the Birchwood landfill. As you can see in this footage right now, that there are several law enforcement searching the area. They are wearing white, searching acres and acres of this property and searching through debris. Now, according to that investigation, Locke's family has not seen or heard from him since May 21st, and that investigation began shortly after on May 24th. Neal's first court appearance is this afternoon. We're going to bring you coverage on air and online and also on our streaming platform, Local 3 Now, and we're going to keep you updated as this investigation progresses.
Beaumont police have released the name of the city's latest homicide victim, a fisherman found shot dead in Beaumont's north end today. It happened in the 2900 block of Astor, that's just west of the Neches River. The victim, identified as 64-year-old Sinclair Collins. Beaumont police say a water department employee discovered Sinclair Collins near fishing equipment along the edge of a drainage ditch. Officers arrived and they soon learned he suffered gunshot wounds. The question now, who killed Sinclair Collins? If you know that answer, call Crime Stoppers. You could earn a cash reward. The number is 833-TIPS.
A family member stops by to check on loved ones in their far northwest side home and walked into a nightmare.
And of course, we're still trying to determine at what point between then and now did this young man die there within the residence.
Deputies say a relative went to a home off Cactus Plum Drive after not hearing from family Tuesday afternoon. Sheriff Salazar says a 22-year-old man was dead, his mother injured, and rushed to the hospital. Now investigators are searching for this man. Deputies say Anthony Wayne Neesham was last seen leaving in this SUV. If you've seen him or know where he might be, call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Tune in and watch each episode as we spread the news in your area. If you have news that you want aired here on NCC New Texas, send it to us. NeboMarketing@yahoo.com. We want to keep you informed through each broadcast.